What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through Game 4 of the Boston Celtics Indiana Pacers series. We'll see if we crown an Eastern Conference champion tonight. We honor Memorial Day. We want to thank everybody who has served and has given their lives for this country. And so wanted to lean in with that on this Memorial Day. Mike Gallagher, how are you feeling?
Yep, feeling a little disappointed with the potential sweeps on our hand. Echo your sentiments on Memorial Day. My grandfather was in Pearl Harbor, which is he's great, but he told me a lot of cool stories about that, and yeah, really thankful for everyone who fought for this country and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, tough on the basketball. Perhaps some spring cleaning out there. With the sweeps, but yeah, it's been good. We've had some good games though. We're upset about the 3-0s, but hey, we're not getting that many blowouts. We've had some really exciting, iconic basketball the last week and a half.
Yep. Let's get into the injury stuff because there is actually plenty of injury stuff to discuss. We'll just tackle the Boston-Indiana game. We'll get to Minnesota-Dallas tomorrow, another edition of the injury show. But for Boston tonight, Drew Holiday listed questionable non-COVID illness, same questionable tag that he had on Saturday and was able to play through effectively, was fantastic in the fourth quarter and down the stretch of that game-winning steal, seals it with the free throws, was also just all over the place in the fourth quarter as a whole, did not look impacted by the illness. Luke Cornett, who missed last game with that left wrist sprain, is also questionable. And then Kristaps Porzingis, as we predicted, listed out pretty early here with that right soleus strain. Just doesn't make sense to push him given the context of the series. So what are your notes here on the Boston injuries tonight?
Yeah, Drew went through shoot around. You mentioned, he looked like a guy who was 100% with the activity, had arguably one of the best defensive, not arguably, it was one of the best defensive plays of the playoffs. Arguably, it was the best with getting that steal, a huge impact play. So yeah, he looked great. Usage was down a little bit, but the rebounding was there. The handling was still pretty there. He's screening a ton. Looked like Drew Holiday for sure. So yeah, expecting him to be 100% full go. I have my doubts on Luke Cornett. He did have a big brace on his wrist, got ruled out fairly early last game. I feel like he's going to miss. That should propel Xavier Tillman into the bench role again. Should note he played great, and we saw the first half the Celtics were getting torched at the rim, and the adjustment that was from Missoula was to play a little bit bigger, and we actually just took a Peyton Pritchard under. Even not really baking in that he could be nuked. And you could argue that I think losing Luke Cornett could have affected Peyton Pritchard a little bit negatively for how he likes to play defense and with the drop coverage behind him. So we kind of bet into that and took Peyton Pritchard's under there. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Bottom line here, Drew will be full go. I would be shocked if he's not. And then expecting, Luke Cornett to miss here.
Yeah, with a Peyton Pritchard under, we'll see if it's been a pain this year for us in the playoffs. The guy who converted 57% or 55, 56% of his potential assists during the course of the regular season has been 80+% throughout the playoffs. We took under 2.5 assists. He keeps having these games where he gets 3 potential assists and converts 3 assists. So we'll see if we can run a little bit hotter on the Peyton Pritchard under tonight. But I expect we'll largely see the same iteration of Boston that we saw last game out. I'm with you that the Drew Holiday questionable tag, obviously not one we're concerned about since we just took this Pritchard under, and the Luke Cornett questionable tag, one that is more concerning. And I think also just the tides of the series were kind of turning against him in terms of when O'Shea Brissett came in and played effectively. It opened up some different paths for Boston to play. So I think that's what we'll see. On the Indiana side, they're still without Benedict Mathurin, of course, and then Tyrese Haliburton listed questionable with this left hamstring soreness. He was listed questionable last game and ruled out fairly early. Around this time of game day was when he was ruled out. I think they'll drag it out to be more of a game time decision, but ultimately I just don't see Tyrese Haliburton playing when he's had recurrent left hamstring issues throughout the course of the second half of the season. The reporting on this has been that he was in doubt for game 4 from the very start as well. And I think it's time to just sunset this thing for Tyrese Haliburton on what's been an all NBA season, a great season for Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers. But I don't think there's any reason at all down 3-0 to try to rush him back. So what are your expectations for Tyrese Haliburton tonight?
Yeah, tough way to go out this month, but he has 41 million other reasons to feel good about May 2024 with the All NBA earning him 41 million on his upcoming extension that he would get. So yeah, we were not expecting him, though. The Woj reporting was quote reeled out for today's game, and then sounded unlikely if there was a game 5. So yeah, as you mentioned, probably out for the season. Um, that's Andrew Nemhard's music. Just absolute masterpiece of a game. 32 points, 28 points at half court. You know, you think Pacers, you think transition offense. Nah, he was executing the half court. 12 points as a pick and roll handler. The jump shooting has been incredible. Talked about on the podcast we recorded just earlier today. 74 players have 30 jumpers in the playoffs. 74 of them. Andrew Nemhard ranks first. He's been just killer with the jump shooting, so he'll have a big role. TJ McConnell, big usage, tough shot making. Didn't have a lot of rim scoring, a lot of tough shots, but really strong usage. 13 potential assists, 16 drives, 14 points on drives, and then the touch time was pretty strong. Should just highlight Nemhard's goal stats that I always cite here. 14 points on 21 drives, 16 potential assists, 52 front court touches, and 6.5 minutes of touch time. So yeah, just massive roles for those two. Didn't see a role increase out of Pascal Siakam, even a dip in his usage. Miles Turner usage went up. Like almost everyone besides Siakam benefited from a usage standpoint. And then Obi Toppin was another wrinkle that was to fill minutes because you're sliding them hard to a straight one. You're going to open up wing minutes. And one way they filled that was with Obi Toppin playing 9 minutes next to Siakam and Turner, and then 2 more minutes next to Isaiah Jackson and Siakam. So pretty big front lines to fill minutes there. Expecting a pretty similar approach for those guys today. Expecting Ben Shepherd to probably start again and then just do nothing, stand in the corner.
Yeah, and those bigger lineups also facilitated some of those bigger lineups in response from Boston that you alluded to with the Xavier Tillman kind of in the squeeze down on Peyton Pritchard. So all that stuff kind of worked together, right, in terms of Indiana having to fill more minutes in the wings by shifting Obi Toppin over there, and that allowed Boston to play a little bit bigger as well. So all things kind of working in tandem. I think that'll be largely what we'll see here in game 4. Once again, we'll see if Nembhard and McConnell can have the type of offensive performance that they had last game that kept this game within striking distance and kept Indiana obviously in a comfortable lead for most of the game that they ended up giving away in the last 5 minutes of that game. But ultimately, like, that'll be the key. If Nembhard and McConnell can continue to drive good offense, then Indiana can play with Boston. As we've seen throughout the course of the series, Indiana's going to have a very hard time slowing down Boston. Just from a defensive perspective, they don't have the talent, the personnel, and their scheme is not a great fit to knock down Boston from an offensive perspective. So it'll be ultimately whether we can see the great offense from McConnell and Nembhard that we saw in game 3 carry over into game 4.
Yeah, I have a lot of stats and matchups that I'll save for the DFS show that I think is actionable, but should just note they were up 8 with 2:38 left. You're supposed to win those games. So, yeah, missed timeouts from Rick Carlisle. Should have definitely called when he had 2 left with like a minute or so left. Just really poor execution from these guys. And then we just recorded the pod for more details. I didn't think we were going to go an hour on that one, but we had a lot to say about both these series. Obviously spent more time on the Minnesota and Dallas series.
Yeah, and that'll be up on the podcast feed later today or this evening on the YouTube feed. Potentially tomorrow. I'm going to check with Ryan on his availability. I'm getting stuff up later in the week on the YouTube side. But that'll do it for this edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report analysis show. We also did leave some thoughts on the passing of Bill Walton in the podcast. We'll save that for there as well. But RIP to just a great, joyous human being who brought a lot of joy and celebrated the game of basketball. We will continue on the content schedule front to pump out content whenever there are games. So we know that there's a game tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. We do not know if there will be a game Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. So we'll continue to be here whenever there are NBA playoff games. We'll be here breaking down the injury report. So we will see you tomorrow with another edition. As always, if you'd like to support our content, the best way to do so is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for all your efforts in getting us to over 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA season. That was a big goal for us. We've hit it. We're really thrilled that we've hit it. We appreciate all your support. If you have not subscribed to the channel, continue doing so and help supporting us there. If you're interested in any of our premium content, you can go to establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA for more premium content. Myself and Mike Gallagher behind the paywall today, breaking down this slate from a DFS showdown perspective. I'm running hot in the showdown streets, back-to-back showdown takedowns, a 2-way swap on Saturday night, a 71-72 way swap. That's less fun last night, but want to shout out Drew Holiday's defense that ended up getting me that 2-way swap and a cool 75K. So appreciate that. But you can check us out. We'll talk through all the different ways. I think there's something to talk through from a specific showdown strategy perspective that I want to talk through on this Indiana-Boston series that I think is really, really important. And one of the reasons I was able to win 70K on it 2 days ago with a 2-way chop. So we'll talk through that tonight on the Showdown show, established show, 5 o'clock Eastern time. You can get weekly passes to join us behind the paywall if you're interested there. And as always, if you are interested in keeping this content free going into next season, the best way to do so is to support this content by smashing that like button and helping feed that algorithm. That algorithm helps feed our families and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information analysis you need each and every day to set your lineups and make your spread bets and your prop bets. So smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, feed that algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. We'll see you tomorrow.